Hello everybody and welcome back to Firefield Junction once again. So I've been meaning to do this video for quite a while now, but it's kept slipping my mind, but finally, after several months, I finally managed to get around to doing this video. So obviously a while ago, you may have seen, I don't know if you have or not, but you may have seen me do a video on, I did a video on reviewing the Bachmann Class 220 Voyager in cross-country livery, and then shortly after that I did a video on sorry about that. I did a video on hardwiring that particular model to DCC, and I'm pretty sure I did mention in that video that I would be fitting that model with sound eventually, and not long after fitting her to DCC, it wasn't incredibly long, probably a maximum of a couple of weeks or something, I managed to get around to fitting her with sound. But however, that was several months ago now, or probably longer than that, and I kept meaning to do a video showing you the model fitted with sound and showing you how I did it and everything. But it wouldn't be sort of like a how-to guide on how to do it, but I'd basically be showing you what I'd done and how she was now that she's got sound in her. And that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm basically going to take the bodies off the two centre cars, and I'm going to show you how I've fitted her with sound, and show you what speakers I've got in what I've got in her, and what chip she's got in her now and everything. So if I just grab the motor unit, obviously this is the unit that has got the motor in it, obviously, and you can see there's a sort of a connection here coming out the end, and I'll come on to that in a minute. So obviously with the Bachmann 220 Voyager, obviously it's a 4-car unit. And obviously I didn't really want to just have sound in just the motor unit, but then again I didn't want to have it in all 4 units because I would have to then use 2 chips at that point, and that would just get way too expensive for me. So I decided to go for the option of just fitting sound just the 2 centre cars. So we've also got the motor unit here, and then we've got the other centre car here. You can see the other sort of plug here coming out this end. And basically what I did is, obviously we've still got the chip and everything in the motor unit, and then there's obviously a speaker in here as well. And then the reason I've got the 2 sockets here is because then there's another speaker in the other centre car, so the other centre car that hasn't got a motor in it, and those speakers have been wired so that they're wired in series. And then obviously we've got the connection here just to connect the 2 together, so then everything works. However, I'm not going to mention what speakers I've used quite yet, so I'll let you see that once I've got the bodies off as a bit of a surprise. And now I definitely haven't used probably the speakers that you'd expect to use in a model like this. At least they're not speakers, or at least one of them isn't very easy to fit. But I'll comment on that later. But obviously, I think what we need to do is get the bodies off these 2 units, and I'll show you what they're like inside now that they've got sound and everything in her. So let's get the bodies off and see what she's like inside. are. It took a bit longer than I expected it to. I don't remember the bodies being that difficult to get off, but we're here, they're off, and we can now see what they're like inside. So obviously this is the motor unit, as you can tell. So we can see we've got the motor underneath, and we still got the typical wiring with the 8-pin sockets and everything wired in. But then we've obviously got the DCC chip on top, and this is a Bachmann Biffo sound decoder. Then it's obviously got the class 220/221 Voyager sounds in it. And then in this particular unit, I have fitted a double iPhone mini speaker into one end of the model here, just because compared with the other speaker, I think it does give some decent sound quality. And it does help. You can just hear the sounds from the sound file just a little bit better with the speaker like this. And just compared with the other speaker with the combo, you'd get a really nice sound quality, and it does sound really, really good. So obviously this is how it's wired together in this unit. And we can obviously see we've got the speaker wires. They then come over and then they go into the plug here. Obviously it's just about the body there. That's fine. And I have removed sections of the gangway here. So I've moved the window and everything. Then I've cut out this section of the gangway just to make more room for the plug, because it was causing a few issues on corners. But now that it can move a bit more freely, it's definitely a lot better. So if we just thread that back through, it's fairly simple to do. Go on, nearly there. And there we are. So obviously that's obviously the motor unit and how that's wired up. But then if we go to the other unit, we can see the other speaker, and in this unit I've gone for an EM2. Obviously it was a bit difficult to fit this. Obviously the EM2, it's not really I suppose it's not really designed for double gauge models because of the size, and most models, including this one, you do have to modify the model quite heavily just to make space for the speaker to fit. Originally I didn't modify it as much as I have, but I found without modifying the chassis, I found the speaker sat a bit too high, and it did cause the body to bulge out a bit at the sides, and it really didn't look very good. So milling out the chassis, like I have done, it's definitely made plenty of space for the speaker, and it does sound really, really good with the double iPhone mini speaker together. So you can just see where I've just milled out a section of the chassis. Obviously you can see where this section came up here with the seating. You can see the seats between the seating and the sort of underframe detail here. There's just this section of plastic here that the seating sits on. And what I've done is I've just removed that section of plastic on both sides, so the speaker sits lower in the chassis, and it also doesn't cause the body to bulge out. Well, it still bulges out slightly, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be, and it does sound really, really good. I have just hot glued it into place, which probably isn't the best thing to do, but it's worked fine. It still works really, really well, and it does sound amazing. So I think the next thing to do is get the bodies back on, get everything back together, and we'll see how she runs and what she sounds like. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, here we are. She's back on the track, everything's been screwed back together, all the bodies are back on, she's getting power, so next thing to do is to try the sounds. So obviously remember we've got a double iPhone mini speaker in the motor unit, and then we've got an EM2 speaker in the non-powered centre unit, and trust me, together they really are amazing. She does sound absolutely fantastic. So let's fire up the engine. And there we are. I'll just do a couple of the horns. Lovely. We'll do the doors. And then we'll close them again. Lovely. So we'll just do a quick dispatch whistle and then we'll get her going. I'll get it going about 50% speed. Now the engine sounds, they are a bit quieter when she's actually running, but she still does sound very good, and she's incredibly smooth as well. And there we are. But I think you'll agree, she does sound amazing. Fitting this model with sound really was worth the money. Obviously, it was quite expensive, so obviously it's a Lego Man Biffo sound chip, and then obviously an EM2 speaker and a double iPhone speaker, and together that does come to quite a decent sum of money. And to us, it cost me nearly as much to fit her with sound as it actually cost me to buy her. But it was definitely worth the investment, and I think you'll agree, she is fantastic. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thank you and feel free to leave a comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.